I get there, again, theater, nothing. So I'm like, okay, what's close enough? Music, and I've studied music. My mom's a musician, so I was like, music. I decided to do a music major.
Okay. How did that go?
I did 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then I said, okay, listen, this thing for music is not for me. Let me tell you, like, it was the hardest 2 weeks of my
Your life.
Like, it was so difficult. It was like trigonometry. Like, first it was composition, which is like all kinds of mathematics. Okay.
Okay.
It's like, what is the sixth above and then you have to do the fourth and then the triad of the ninth and the augmented seven. I said, my friends, I came here to sing like Beyonce. What are we doing?
What are these?
What are these? What is note?
Wow.
What is quarter note?
Welcome to Sanaa ya Wasanii, and today we are hosting Gathoni Mutua, aka?
There's no AKA.
It's aka for Single Kiasi.
Oh, AKA Sintamei.
Yes, once I can say that name.
Sintamei.
Without biting my tongue.
But the people shrub it all the time.
Sintamei.
The things in my DMs, I'm like, Sintamei, Sintamo, Santa Fe. Hey, they go like, what?
Weird.
Weird.
Right. Welcome to our episode. And this is an episode that highlights and celebrates artists in their own right. And I think you deserve to be here. It's been amazing to see you grow. It's been amazing to see you develop as an actor and become this person that you are.
Thank you. When do umeniona nikitoka mbali? Umeniona nikitoka mbali?
2015.
Was I even an actor when you knew me?
No, you are an AD actually. What were we doing? We were shooting because
We
love.
were shooting because love.
Okay, they look for because love. It's a good program.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
No, it doesn't really happen. So, how are you? How did you get into acting? Please introduce yourself first.
Gosh, my name is Gathoni Mutua. I'm an actor. What am I? I'm a coach. I'm a producer.
coach?
I'm a writer. Yes, acting coach. Performance coach. And then the rest, you do all the rest. Producing, writing. Everyone does the rest as well, Also directed theater. Produced my own productions back in the day when I first started. What else? I've been an AD, assistant director. What haven't we done in this industry?
You have to do things.
Yeah.
To the one point
Background, nimefanya audience work.
And you sing as well.
Singing, music, like instruments. I've taught violin. I play violin.
I still playing
the piano. I play around with the guitar.
So do you have to be multi-faceted to get into the position that you are right now?
Oh, so a little about me is that I went to school. Some of my last years in uni were in California. And the 3 years I was there were so, is it eye-opening? I'm a groundbreaking. I'm a heartbreaking.
Everything all at once. Everything at once all together. What is it?
Everything all at once all together. Yeah, it was like excitement of like, wow, I get to actually see this up close, but also like, wow, you have nothing to offer, my friends. Who are you? Like, who actually are you? So yeah.
So tell us about how did you get that?
Go back, rewind selection.
How did you decide now this is my path, I want to be an actor? How did you get started?
Everyone in my family quotes me to say, like, when I was like 3 or 4, I used to say, I want to be an actress and a mom.
Oh.
I've not yet become a mom, but the acting part, yeah.
Is there.
Yeah. So that's, I've always just kind of wanted to do it. I was in love with the idea of movies and storytelling and, kwa Christmas show, mi nilikuwa Mary, unaget, like, lazima ustar. I think I was just that kid, like, I'm a Leo, and Leos are very, like, they love the spotlight, but they're also very loyal, so we love, like, a community of performers, like, so I think that's how I got into the space. It's my character, to be, like, to love the spotlight in terms of, like, telling a performative something I love that. Like, I love the idea of like putting on lights, like putting on a costume and like,
Becoming someone else.
yeah, but also just the whole storytelling process of it. I love that you can shift a room into a studio, into, I love that the whole storytelling process is very interesting to me.
Oh, fantastic. Did your
Yeah.
parents support you with it, or did they take you to school for support and your parents?
So my parents are sort of artists in a sense. My dad teaches French. My mom taught music and English, and so they're that. They're also missionaries, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, so I think growing up from that family, like most of the people in my family are artsy in that sense. Like they're not science people.
Oriented guys.
Yeah, like is account science? Yeah, I guess that's science. Is that actually? Aki mi sijui. Mi ni msanii. Tuko kwa wasanii. Tuko kwa wasanii. So yeah, I grew up very artsy. So I think that's kind of where I got it from. My mom was a teacher of music as well. So she taught piano and recorder to kids in my life growing up. So I was always around it a lot. So in uni, I decided to kind of take it up. In high school, I did everything under the sun. Even in primary school, I was in worship team. I was in everything.
Ulikuwa time ya kusoma saa ngapi?
Okay, let's just say, for the record, I usually say I was so like not school, but I think I was a B student.
Okay.
I was a solid B student. As for what that means, really quite American system. Mnasemanga sisi ni wafala. But it's not about...
You're back home now. That does not count.
It's okay. Hata ilikuwa hapa, ilikuwa Roslyn Academy.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Mimi wa hapa tu.
Kama ni babi pia.
Hey. Okay, babi ni kuenda majuu. Okay, but pia ilikuwa nini? It was a shift of cultures, I'll say. But even then, I was very involved in everything. Sports, music, you name it. Worship teams, bands. I was trying to do everything.
So how did you leave Kenya to go abroad and study what you do? How did you facilitate that, or how did that get to happen? Because not many artists, not many Kenyans have gone abroad to pursue film, acting, arts, like performance arts.
Yeah.
So how did you get so lucky, or how do we?
Gosh, it's a small, long story, but I think the long and short of it is, since my parents are mostly missionaries,
Yes.
and also they're educators, so like they taught French, taught English, taught music. They are teachers, So I was raised kind of like, okay, if you're taking this seriously, then take it seriously. Go to school for it. Let's see what's happening,
Fantastic.
Which is great.
Yes.
Because you need that kind of like, how you're gonna feed yourself kind of vibe in your family. Not just like, yeah, let's all be artists, like,
Just go find yourself.
Yeah, my parents are not hippies at all.
Okay.
On paper, they sound like hippies.
Yes.
In fact, I've just thought about it.
Yes, they sound
Missionary, French teaching, music, money. No, we're not at all. Like, they're very... My dad is a very quiet-spoken, very wise man. Yeah. My mom is kind of like eccentric, but not at all what you'd think. Yeah.
Right.
So coming from that world, I think it was just easy for me to think, okay, if I'm going to do it for school, how can I do it and be serious about it? So I wanted to go to California, but my folks are like, with what money? No, with what money? Because Roslyn was a missionary school, so that's how we got the connect. We got like major scholarship. And of course, if you have more kids in your family, you get more discount. We were 4.
Hey.
So by number 4, they're like, I was going basically for free,
Yeah, like where?
Yeah.
Go.
So exactly. So now when it came to uni, my folks are like, hey, my friends, wherever you want to go, I don't know if that's going to be able. So I did, after high school, I did like 6 months of just, discover nini. Yeah. So I did events in that time. I just did like things, So every time I've had like loose time, I've always just explored things. I'm like, okay, what can I do now? Like, can I learn how to edit? Like, I think I learned how to edit during that time. things like that. I was learning how to do coordination, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I can plan. Okay, let's see how it, so, yeah. And then, so how did I get from that to doing acting in school?
In school,
Yeah. So my folks were like, okay, just go to school. We'll see how we'll make this happen. So I'm like, okay, fine. So they're like, because you went to American school, what's the closest thing? USIU.
Yes.
But USIU does not have any arts at that time. Even film at that time was nada.
The film just came the other day.
It just came the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, where were you? Yes, you see. Okay, Miss Kona preps.
Yes, you do. Every day one.
This is why I'm not prepared for life. I was to Kona preps, you see? I got to not prepare. By the for real, I don't know how to study for an exam.
What did you
Like,
do?
we just taught ourselves. Tulikuwa tunaenda Google how to
answer questions in an exam?
Yeah.
Where?
I make concepts, concepts, not like
Number one.
yeah.
Answer.
You tell me a list and then tell me to list it again. I'll be like, the concept of the list was,
Idea.
Yeah, the idea behind the list. So anyway, so I did USIU. I was doing international relations because there's no art there. Then my folks were like, okay, we have a connection because at Roslyn, the lady who was in Roslyn went to Canada. She's from Canada. The school counselor, she was from Canada. So she was like, why don't I connect you with a school that I'm going to go work at? So my folks were like, immediately with direct effect.
Right there.
Si unaenda maju, unataka kwenda maju. Ndo hii scholarship, ndo huu mtu. So at least you'll be connected. Nini. I'm like, great. I get there, again, theater, nothing. So I'm like, okay, what's close enough? Music, and I've studied music. My mom's a musician, so I was like, music. I decided to do a music major.
Okay. How did that go?
I did 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, listen, this thing for music is not for me. Let me tell you, it was the hardest 2 weeks of my life. Like, it was so difficult. It was like trigonometry. Like, first it was composition, which is like all kinds of mathematics. Okay?
Okay.
It's like, what is the sixth above and then you have to do the fourth and then the triad of the ninth and the augmented seven. I said, my friends, I came here to sing like Beyonce. What are we doing?
What are these?
What is note?
Wow.
What is quarter note? So yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, not sleeping, literally like my whole year would like sit up till like 5, just like doing assignments. It was mad. It was actually like solfege classes, just solfege, like learning how to hear music. Like, it was history of Sijui when, and so one of the history classes for music would be like, he would play 10 seconds of the song, a classical music song. Uko katikati ya ngoma.
Alafu.
Be like, name the composer, name the year, I said, my friend, is it war? Are we in war?
By force.
But you see, and then remember coming back from Roslyn, where I didn't know how to memorize things. So some of those classes were like, I just want to teach music and have a good time and like be able to do music. What's all this?
What drumline?
Right.
That guy.
Yeah.
Wait. There's this guy. The guy who yelled at the other guy in the ear, like, yeah, horrible.
Exactly. I didn't need to watch that movie again. I just remember Nani from that movie.
Anyway.
So I've now changed from a music major to a music minor in those 2 weeks. Meaning now I'm doing my whole minor instead of across 4 years, just in 1 year, right? Because my folks are hinting, maybe you'll be able to transfer to a school that has theater. So I'm like, let me just bag this music minor. So I finished the music minor in a year at Canada. My folks are like, tumepata pesa, we sasa tafuta scholarship, tupatane halfway, wende APU, Azusa Pacific University in California. Now this is now that uni. Yeah? The one I was looking at
Yes.
from year 11.
Wow.
I was like, oh my goodness.
I am here
My
now.
folks are like, we're going to do this. We're going to like, my folks, by the way,
They invested in your art.
like I'm so, so, so grateful for how they think in terms of like that whole thing of, if you want to do this, then let's do it.
Let's be serious about
Yeah.
it.
Let it not be because that you weren't educated or didn't have the
Opportunity
opportunities,
to pursue whatever you
right?
wanted.
And I think that's big, 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 big.
Brilliant.
If like parents can just be like, if you're really this determined, give them a year. Give them a year, give them 6 months, give them 3 weeks.
Giving you this duration.
What
to
can you
prove
do?
yourself.
Yeah.
And then
Instead
after
of
that,
saying Z, say, okay, you're so committed. Let's see. Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, I'm so grateful for them for that. Got the opportunity to go to APU. That's when I got, yeah. So now I've gone to Azusa Pacific University. I'm studying Bachelor of Arts in Theatre Arts. And I'm like an hour away from Hollywood. So I'm like, I'm so close. I can't touch the
I am
the beach. Except no, it was like, an hour in California is like from here to Kisumu. It's far. It's that the roads are
The
nice.
roads are nice.
It's far.
Wow.
So me, I'm like, oh, it's just an hour away
That's
or like an hour and a half. So I had to get a car. Because by the time now I graduated after the 1.5, 2 years or whatever, now I've done all 4 years, right? USIU, Canada, then the last 2 years. So now I've done my 4 years. I'm like basically done.
You're
so
ready.
so I get OPT, which is optional practical training. You get 1 year to study there, but you have to work in the area in which you graduated.
Okay.
That's the trick. Problem is most people do like waitressing jobs, right?
Yes.
Not I, because that's not theater related, film related.
It's nothing related to what you studied,
Nothing.
so you're just surviving.
So me, I'm like, but the movie said you get to act and then you be a waiter on the side, then you make money and you can just.
Come on.
I was like, oh, you're not American. That's for the Americans, really.
So what are your criteria? What is your criteria?
So you had to work within theater, film, or television, which is such a hard field to work in, especially in Hollywood, where everyone and their sister and cousin and auntie has come. Akina Senje.
Manze akina nepotism babies.
Man, Wamekam Water, Akina Harvey Weinstein's cousins. They're all there. And they're all looking. YouTube creators, everyone
Then
is
there's
there.
you.
Then there's me. Mdemtu Amuranga.
Manze, ulikuja tu.
Nilimwalk. Mi ni wa kumwalk.
So how did you fit in? Because I saw you in Hollywood.
I didn't fit in. I don't tell you.
How did you get in?
Let me tell you.
We make Hollywood.
Kwa nini? Kwa social media tunafanya ikae poa. Mi nilikuwa mshamba. Nilikuwa like,
Itabidi kwa sababu.
ilibidi.
Why?
And then also because it meant so much for me because as a kid, that's what I knew. I knew the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
I knew the Hollywood side. Nilikuwa like,
what you
nasimama huko one
wanted.
day. Yeah. So by the time I was there, I was like, okay, so that year after I graduated was like so major. I was telling you before we started rolling, about being an audience member.
Yes.
So yeah, so in this one OPT year is when like I was like, yo, this is it. This is what I want to do. I have this opportunity that so many people, even people who have been in this industry forever, will probably never get that opportunity to. Not even that. Even me myself will probably never get that opportunity again.
Yes.
When we talk about odds,
Yes.
the odds of,
Of you getting there again.
So, and I think, sadly, I was so young that like, it was only kind of hitting me that now I'm like, yo, I was where doing what?
When, how?
I mean, I was just struggling, man. Literally, like I was saying, during that year, I was an audience member. So, mi nilikuwa naenda, you name it. I mean, name the shows. Mi nilikuwa na make dough to clap. Man, kwa Boris and Sijui Boris and what's her name? And Nicole.
Oh, wow. You are a professional audience.
Let me tell you about that job.
Yes, please.
It's like 8 hours. Okay, so you're paid hourly in the States, right?
Fantastic.
Which I was like, yeah, let's go. So you want a show that's like a proper like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 45-minute show, right? Not these short ones. Because, yeah, like there's one for CNN or something that I went there and I was like, yes, I'm going to make bank. It was 3 hours.
So that's
which meant like $8. I was like, that's $24. I need to eat today. Na nimekam nimeleta gari. Ngata? So anyway, so I'd look for shows like Boris and Nicole where you're there all day. Because some of the newer shows at that time, let me not age myself, but it was a newer show at that time.
Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah. They like would take a long time. You have to set up and then be like, okay, stop, hold on, audience, everybody take a break. Okay, I'm gonna. so it would stop a lot because they have to go back. Oh, sorry, we missed that line. Let's start again. Versus like, if you went like to the Trevor Noah or, the daily shows, those guys, I'm sure they don't do.
They don't do
They don't, Actually live, inakuanga live.
So you're like,
Yeah.
45 minutes and you're gone.
Yeah. So I loved the longer shows because
Yes.
Yeah, so I was making money off of those kinds of things, but it was quite rough because like I had roommates that I didn't know. It was just like I didn't have a car for the longest time. And in California, like I've said, everything is a distance away.
Yes.
And again, I'm a foreigner. So everything is already terrifying because I'm like, where am I going if I get lost? What will I do? My only relatives are Wapi, like an hour and a half away as well. And everyone is like, so you chose this life. That's the thing about the arts, man.
The struggle.
It's really hard to get that support when it's hard because everyone is like, so you chose this life. See, there's accounting. See,
there's that degree you are meant to be.
Si ndio hii nursing kwa tu hapa.
Mbona usiende hizo rahisi?
Kuna Ministry of Health. They're needing secretaries. What would I do? Ati unaandika nini?
Kama nani?
Proposal.
Good luck.
This is your 75th proposal this year. So it's just like, it's a struggle. Guy, why am I triggering myself?
I'm sorry. No, you're triggering us both kwa sababu how long have we been in this industry?
Man,
only been
fighting, starching.
How did you adjust to the culture shock and how did you get your food? As an actor, not as a professional.
Culture shock wise, I think culture shock was more Roslyn than anything. I think once I went to Roslyn, I was just aware of everything. Because everyone, those are Americans, American missionaries in Kenya. So they are a special weird breed.
Okay.
Some of them have money, others are. So it's like I knew a lot about the culture because they would go home and then they'd come back. They'd be like, Jolly Ranchers. These are Jolly Ranchers, Gathoni. What are you? Or Gathoni. These are Jolly Ranchers, Gathoni. And I'm like, what is Jolly Rancher? Who is that?
What is that?
Yeah, so by the time I graduated, I was on. I'm like, yeah, Jolly Ranchers, when we'll go to, McDonald's when we get to the, really catch on. We're going to catch on.
There with it. All going to focus by there. You know where you were going.
Yeah. And the thing about Roslyn at the time as well is they were very foreign, like international.
Okay.
So they were driving you to go to the States, like for uni.
Okay.
Which was, now they don't because they have a lot more Kenyans. But at the time it was like, come the US or the uni. So us guys were looking at each other like, oh, just going to SIU, only to come in because they were really looking down. But at the time there was less focus on like here, right? And less respect. So now I think, so me, I was just like US. So I really was trying to absorb as much as possible. You want to fit in as a kid. Yeah. I didn't know any cultural things. So because me, I'd never left. I'd never been to the US. I think we went once the summer before I graduated. And I was like, thank God now I can know what to say. Like when we go, I can say.
You're ready.
Yeah. But again, missionaries. So pali tunaenda ni church. Tunaenda church.
Church-oriented.
Tunaenda church.
Church-oriented.
Yeah. Conferences. Hapo ndio niko. Yeah, so that was interesting in terms of culture. I think I had already kind of gotten it. Of course, it's visually, there's the grandeur of America, there are the roads, there are the cars, there's the vibe. Like, poverty is not poor there, like.
It's not the same.
I don't know which comedian says that in the States, at night or in the winter time, even the homeless people go home because it's too cold. Like, the homelessness is different there. Here it's like,
hey, Buddha do.
Mnaenda?
Outside.
Wow. So I think the culture was not so hard to adjust to in terms of that. It was just that thing of clap. In fact, I was not doing acting.
So uli clap hadi ukapiga hizo picha?
Actually, I didn't do any acting, imagine, in the States, hardly any. I only did my acting reel, which was, at the time, the States is very organized. The systems work so well. So they're like, where's your acting reel? Where are the samples? Where is the da-da-da? And me, I'm like, huh? I thought you just come and you look nice.
Present your talent.
Yeah, me, I was told, yo, you're going to California. So unaenda kuto represent manze. So I was like, yeah, me, I'll be unique. They'll need me, nini.
Neti. When in nani kwanza?
I went to do background acting because they even have like let's say, what is it? Like a company that just handles background. And there are many in the state, in Hollywood,
California?
yeah.
Okay.
So I went to sign up. I think I went at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I think I was number like 40. Sitting there, just waiting. And you're going to be taking pictures and to like sign, to like register or something.
So this is just like a consultation.
Yeah, this is a consultation to be a background extra.
Wow.
My friend.
Saturation.com.
So nikiandika hapo, I was an extra in Lucifer. Msinione kufanya kazi. I was fighting people for that.
Only you for
Every time I was not seen in that same episode 1, season 1 episode.
Okay.
People always like,
Where?
who are you in that? I'm like, you see, when they pass the camera,
So
you see that corner where it's dark.
that's where we were.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm proud of that because I saw so much during that year that was like, oh, these are the practical. This is what an actual Ari camera looks like. You know, this is what a big star director looks like. This is what an AD actually does when a set is actually functioning, you know.
Nice.
So when you're not given the position of when you producer, when you director, when you assistant director, you are the casting, no, there's a position. In fact, there are multiple positions for all of that. One of the positions that I did right out of graduating at APU in that first OPT year, this is actually probably one of the best projects I've done or biggest budget. It was what is it called? A football movie, a Christian football movie called Woodlawn. You can check it out. Woodlawn. Yeah. So it was like, so the school is called Woodlawn. Let me tell you the things that we did. Me, I was an extras casting coordinator.
Okay.
Meaning, kuna director, kuna first AD, kuna second AD, kuna third AD ama second.
Yeah.
Alafu, kuna extras casting coordinator. No, kuna extras casting manager. Alafu, extras casting coordinator. Alafu, sisi.
The others.
Yeah. These are the AD departments. Plus now the assistants, PAs. So that department is massive. And you've not even gotten to Akina camera, equipment, So the set is just run like clockwork. Because on one of the scenes, for example, I needed to get 2,000 extras.
Hey, okay.
Okay?
All right.
So that's why when we talk about companies that are casting for extras, that's why, because they ain't playing games.
How are you going to get 2,000? 2,000 is the entire, a section of Nairobi.
Yay! So actually, it was shot in Alabama. So actually, I had traveled there. We got like everyone in town. Everybody who was just around. Yay! You're just like you're looking like you look like you. Yeah. We're like, call your sister, call your brother, we got churches to get involved, you know.
Wow.
Just like, can you bring everyone?
Just anyone you know.
Problem is, it was even set in the 70s. So not that you just come and then you bring your shirt, no. What do you have that looks 70s? Then we have to approve it.
Wait. How long does it take? Because, wait, what if we compare it to here, and like you see how we have our costume needs to be approved by client, it takes 1 week for 2 people or 5 people. So how long did you guys take?
First of all, they move a whole factory of like everything.
Nice.
The wardrobe, I mean, that's why they have proper trailers. And this again, when you have an industry that works, jobs are provided. Because why don't we have trailers here? We need to move with our stuff.
Sindio.
Ati sasa you always, leta nduthi kutoka Kitengela, sijui nimewacha sijui nini. Hama nayo, wende nayo. So you guys, when you go with equipment, you guys now go with tractors and trucks.
Yes.
Why is the wardrobe person not going with their stuff?
Because they've not been paid enough to do that.
Yeah, because
she needs an entire unit to move it.
But you see the results are there. It's very obvious. I'm telling you, go watch that. Go watch that trailer of Woodlawn. Not only that, extras. Not on top of the 2,000 extras, we had scenes where we were doing like stadium shots.
Mm-hmm.
So Please note it's like winter, which was not so bad in Alabama because it's the South.
Yeah.
But it was not snowing, but it was minus, right? So us were freezing. And we're shooting night scenes, right? Because we have to shoot like it's a night game. So floodlights, nini. But we couldn't always get the 2,000 extras because it gets expensive, right? Because
Yes.
you have to pay people. You know, some of the days we could be like, can you just volunteer? But sometimes it was like,
Money fast.
so we got blow-up dolls.
Okay, fair enough. Uh-huh.
So these blow-up dolls, let me tell you, like 2,000 to us, to our extras casting coordination department is there at 4 a.m.
I wanted blowing them. There's no machine. There are no machines to blow.
Please, we are putting wigs, we are putting sharp.
You're dressing.
It's a half body. Unaona tu mtu.
Wow. How did you?
Then, director is like, cut. That row is deflating. So tunakimbia sisi sote. Freezing, we're tired, we're cold. And by the our thighs, because you're going from this bottom stairs. You know how athletes do that thing?
Yeah.
Up and down the stadium. That was us. Unarudisha wing.
Mnamvalisha tena mnarudi tena.
Tuna roll. Okay, blow up that rug.
How long did that take? Because it.
What? Those scenes were murder and torture.
How long did that take?
Hours, days.
God.
Yeah, sometimes we're just like, hey, we have to do that thing again. We didn't catch it. Sometimes they were flying away. Man, it was windy. Because it's a stadium, right? You know how windy stadium.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So anyway, basically all that to say, like in the States, systems work. So there are a lot of jobs. So things are just, it's like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see a lot.
How did you decide to come back? Like what pushed you to come back? Did you give up on Hollywood? Did you want to like, hey, manze wacha nirudi kwanza ni? You felt like you were needed more at home? Or you just that?
Dear US government, why don't you allow us to stay in your country?
Oh, you were thrown.
Yeah, you have 1 year. Like you've applied for one, you have 1 year. You want to stay longer? It's you and IRS.
The job.
So you just go underground. When, what's her name? From the underground railroad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you and them. Okay, I can't say them Mexican. Yeah, it's you and those guys just running. Where the police?
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have to work, and then you have to work in the
industry that you were
graduated in. So don't now start doing this and this and this because the IRS.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
So ulirudi tu home decide, let me start.
I was like, I'm not going to start fighting because I'm like East-West. I can't even get an extra job to supplement me. These guys already here like, you have 1 month left. You have 3 weeks left.
Time up.
Time up. Yeah.
Wow.
So, it was a lot. It was quite something.
So how did you, because I know when you go abroad and then you come back, everyone has moved on to some weird-ass territories and you find yourself alone. So how did you come back into the industry? How did you find your niche or position?
Goodness.
How hard did you have to work this point and get accepted into the industry?
Yeah. This is that part. This is where the struggles now began. Because I'd honestly say, and a lot of people would be like, yeah, she's just privileged, she's had connects, which is actually absolutely true.
Activity is absolutely true.
Yes, danganya. Hata kama zilikuwa za wa missionary. Zilikam too.
But you still have to prove yourself.
But you see, at the end of the day, everyone's like, that's nice. Kwanza Kenyans, oh my goodness, nililand. They're like, oh, you've been in? That's cool. Tell me all about it. Then at the end, I'm like, okay, so you'll hire me. They're like, so what have you done here, though? Like, what have you done here? I'm like, but see, I've just told you about, remember the 2000X? Remember the ball?
A professional audience? Yeah. No. Yo.
They're like, yeah, that's nice. That's cool.
So did you ask, okay, when you came and started looking for jobs, did you look for jobs as an actress? Or
I was looking for anything, man. Okay, I really wanted to do acting because I was like, let me prove to my parents that, that extra 50% that they put in, that's what else. was not in vain. And all the people, all the missionaries who supported me over the years, thank you very much. God bless you. Like, that was not all in vain, you know? So me, I was just like, let's go, let's hustle, I mean, people were rough. I mean, it was really, really rough. I'd say my first job coming back were my family friends. I won't name names here, but they've already been burnt on Twitter like a couple years ago. So but they told me, okay, come through, you know, write this thing for this documentary. And I was like, cool. I wrote, I rewrote, and I perfected it. And honestly, it was like some high level stuff, right? Because mi nimetoka Hollywood. Yeah, man.
Brother.
Kwanza wanaongea vizuri sijui, you know. It was like the hydroelectric. And I was like the voiceover artist, like the hydroelectric power that, you know, sources the Mount Elgon. I was like, call me. I got you. To this day. You know yourself, by the way. You know you, and why? I know you watch this channel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the
And
industry.
they're my family friends. So I was like, yo, really? And it was like a long time of working on this project, writing, rewriting, because I didn't know anything about that,
Of course.
you know, industry, blah, blah, blah. So
You just came naive. You're like, I can write, I can get paid.
But you know, writing involves research. That's the research that they're paying you for, by the way. It's not that it's the writing juu unajua kuongea. It's the putting information together. Yeah. So that was really like eye-opening and like heartbreaking at the same time. Because I was like, oh, if kunaendanga kwa ground.
Where?
Because me, I'd seen like theater productions, I'd seen Luanda Street, nini. I was like, As soon as I left, you had things to do. Nimerudi. Where? Then the friends who I made, slowly them, I think because they had already been here, you know, they had their connects in Kenya is big.
You got tell, bro.
Man. So me, I was just coming back to make my connections back. But those people, because they'd already been here for long, they were just like, me, I've already been where you are. Tutapatana. So that was really harsh and hard. And it's only actually now that I can actually even see that. Because at the time I was like, Mko? Hey.
Phone calls go and answer. Like, guys, you guys were like, yo.
Yay. So it was like really rough. So that's when I started coaching, you know, because I was like, I know how to act. And as soon as your industry doesn't give you money, what do? You teach.
Exactly.
Come on, English, you teach it.
Yeah.
Come on, sport, you teach it. You know. So I was like, let me teach. So I think in anywhere that you can think of that has theater or acting or something, I've called them. They have my number. I'm telling you, name it.
Did you
KU, ADMI, you know, Nairobi Performing Arts Studio. I mean, you name it. I've either worked there. They have my number. We've collabed something.
They've heard from you.
Yeah. They've heard from me. Kind of go down. Oh my goodness. The poor owner of Go Down. She, like, I've jazzed her emails from 2015 before I'd even arrived. I was like, hi, I'm arriving.
I'm going to.
What are you guys doing there? Can I, you know? So anyway, yeah.
So when did you get your first paid gig in Kenya, and how did you get it?
For acting or?
After you came back and you tried your foot in everything. So where did you first get your official breaks? In a commercial, TV, film.
Because I love to live.
Theater wasn't for AD. Hey, Gathoni, we have tasted life. We need food.
And you see Crest, Joe. And I know you watch this channel.
They all do.
Many they all watch this channel. When do not trauma? You umetuleta ndio tuchome?
Shauri. Ndo maana tungekuwa tunalipwa hatungekuwa hapa. Am I lying?
This is the episode of Bonfire Adventures to chome.
So when did you get your first paid gig, and when did you first feel recognized as an actor?
Those are two different answers. I think pay-wise, I think I did Guinness Made of Black. Still has
Bio?
extras. No, casting. Third AD.
All right.
Yeah, third AD. And then I think that was probably the first one. I was like, oh, thank God. They know I can do something.
Yeah.
Did I get another job after that?
How long did it
Even nilidu. Wacha niwaulize.
2015 and 2017.
They called me. Actually, no, I think it's COVID. That story of COVID. It was like 2018.
Yeah.
So I think 2019 passed and then it was just like COVID.
What were you doing COVID time?
COVID.
Well, how are you making money as an
Can you
artist?
really ask someone that?
How are you making money as an artist?
Was I making money as an artist is the
How are you
question.
making money then?
I think I was teaching. I was teaching mostly.
Okay.
I was teaching with a company called Zan Arts. They basically teach like kids and adults, blah, blah, blah. So I actually still do that on the side on Saturdays. Just teach 2 or 3 hours. Basically just like weekly workshops until they get to a certain age. Then we take them to an actual like 4-year system. So yeah, so far we still have the young ones. So until they get up to like 18, 19. Yeah.
Well, you still work there till today? Or
Yeah.
have you
Yeah. So I
remembered?
have, so now because of Single Kiasi, I just kind of work a bit more part-time. Yeah, when I'm off or whatever. So
What do you teach? Sing,
acting.
Beyonce,
Yeah.
music.
Acting. Yeah. The rest of those are a bit more challenging to teach in Kenya. Yeah.
So when did you decide to branch into VO?
Theos, I just kind of also do them part-time, like on the side, whenever I can catch a gig here and there. I think I could be more serious with it.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Mi nangoja nipewe radio gig.
Sasa hapa sasa ndo tunaanza.
Ebu,
Kusound kwa interest.
tricky.
Sibo wadu.
By the way, utanipatia nini? Ni haya.
Si ndio?
Nifanye voice over podcast.
Sure.
Welcome to the podcast. Dinim.
So let's talk about Pieces of Us. How did you
All
get
pieces
cast?
of us.
Because this is I think this was your first major
Yeah.
role that you actually came for.
Where wacha ngoja. Kuna This Is Life.
Yes.
This Is Life came before Pieces of Us.
Yeah.
So This Is Life was a series, but I was also starring in with the late Kone Nohum and Melissa Kiplangat from Country Queen,
I remember.
Blessing Lungaho, who's been on this show.
Yay. Hi, Blessing.
Hi, Bless. Who else? Mugo.
I remember you guys all
Emmanuel
dressed in
Mugo.
white.
Yeah, Emmanuel Mugo from everything, including Tidy High.
Yes.
Who else? Yeah, so that was Audi Roa.
Oh, wow.
Goodness from Salem. Oh man, that show was star-studded.
It is. It was.
But it was like pre-star-studded. Walikuwa wanaangalia mustards, tukakuwa mustards. Yeah.
So how did you learn that role?
Gosh, learning that role. That role was audition, as all of them have been, honestly. It's interesting that they've kind of been under a similar umbrella company, but none of the 3 times that I've gotten these gigs have I known who was really behind it. And they've all cast very differently. I would have definitely thought they don't know each other. But this one, they had like a 4-step, 3-step process. They were like, okay, go to room 1. And after room 1, you go to room 2. Yeah, they're like, okay, so, proceed to room 3.
Okay.
Mimi kidogo nikaingia room 1. Nikawa shortcheki. Ndio huyu mimi nimekaa.
Kutaka Soul Wood.
Ndio huyu mimi nimekaa. Akasema, wewe ingia room 4. Akasema, sawa.
From 1 to 4.
Yeah, 1 to 4. So
that promotion was quick.
Yeah. So I think I found that like most of the people who actually ended up being cast as the mains all went from 1 to 4. We all they were all like, yes, you're the one. It's you. But it was quite nerve-wracking. It was quite nerve-wracking because it's, casting is very...
What's the most grueling audition you've been to?
Oh! and I always say this one was Single Kiasi. This one was Single Kiasi. It's just honestly, it's like not a miracle that I got it, but it's like sometimes casting has to see beyond
Oh, why?
Beyond what you're presenting.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they have to see that, they have to have that fourth eye.
Yes.
Because me, I entered. This room is pitch black, Sheila. It's black. It's those,
Like black.
what are they called? What are those things called?
Blackout. What?
What are those rooms where there's nothing, then you can come and bring your things? Warehouse. It's a warehouse. Yeah. Sorry, not a room. Yeah, so it's a warehouse. It's dark, you know? So I'm like, okay. Then you walk my heels in silence because you're next. There's just one light. It's one light. It's a small light in front of
That
you,
one for
right? And then that X.
Oh.
Then there's a table. Wow. And I'm just seeing an arm with a suit, you know, as an arm. And I'm just seeing others. Important motions, important motions,
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I can't even see anybody. To this day, I don't know who they are.
Auditioned you.
But I knew they were like maybe even like 10 people, maybe like 6, 7 people there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like several, because usually it's like 3, maximum 4.
Yeah, we get.
I was I was just rapping my own nonsense. Hey.
And that's
Huh? I don't know what happened. I was shaking, I was terrified, couldn't see anything. I think my wig was halfway. It was just like you begin to see it. As every minute, my hairline was just.
why?
It was rough. It was really, really rough. I left there. I was confident though, but I was shaking. Like I was scared, but confident, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I think that's what they read, that like she really wants this.
But
She's not doing well, but she wants it.
she can do it.
Yeah. Unajua nini? Participation prize. You know that chicken, like, yeah, man, she's really trying. And I think uko chini nilikuwa na your base, you know? I knew how to like give a bit of nuance when it comes to certain words or certain maybe inflections. But it's just that I couldn't somehow get myself together, which now we teach in my acting courses. So please go ahead and follow me.
Gathoni to learn through experience.
Mutua. Yeah, to learn how to calm your nerves, to be like,
so how did you get to learn that?
How do I get into myself? Yeah, all those years of acting. I also went for my own trainings in that year in the States. Tasha Smith. A chick who's like, Marcus, in those movies for Tyler Perry. Yes. Okay, Marcus.
Yes.
That chick.
Yeah.
So I went to her studio for like one workshop, cause money. And it was amazing. Like they're so in depth, and the exercises they're doing are actually like important, not just like, oh, we're gonna study method acting and we're gonna do some Meisner techniques that will really bring out. No. They're like, okay, this particular exercise, and they're like, and everyone is learning, everyone is participating. So I was like, yo, this is it. It's like being part of a play and a cast, but like 2 or 3 times a week, but it's no pressure. And I don't know, it was like the best parts of being in a show. And you're always learning, you're always doing new shows, you always have something to work on. Again, I only did 1 class, but I was so inspired by what they do. So I was like, I want to do this when I come home. Yeah, so that's kind of how I did that.
Have you started?
Yeah, so I was doing that from the time 2016. I just started everywhere and anywhere.
So let me ask you, were you step above your peers, acting-wise? Like considering the experience and exposure that you've had? Or do you find that our own actors in Kenya will strive to get to that point without even the exposure that you received?
So I'll definitely say that, first of all, Kenya is massively, massively, massively talented. People who hear, I think one of the first memories I have of like being back here and having that what is it called? When there's a nini that's called when you have culture shock when you come back to your now nation.
Oh,
reverse culture shock. Reverse culture shock. So I think I had a lot more of that because everyone's like, who are you and why do you think you're Kenyan? And I'm like, yo, not the accent.
It is the accent.
The accent. by the and I couldn't speak any much Swa or anything.
Yes.
So I was just floating. Everyone's like, why do you think you should be here?
Because of your accent.
Yeah. And I was like, no,
Singapore-
because I've worked hard for this. Ignore the accent.
They
They're
can
like, we
see
can't.
beyond
Accent. Yeah, they're like, when you speak Swa, call us.
Wow.
Mi nilikuwa na audition Celine, nalikuwa na audition daily. They're like, okay, we have a new part.
You got
Lucky. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Mi nilikuwa na bafu, man. Ay. Okay. No one released those tapes.
Listen.
Do you release those tapes?
Boy.
Yeah. So getting back in was quite difficult.
How did you find your role, like your niche? How did you fit into that? Because it's so usually so tightly gatekept. So how did you fit into those cracks to get to the position? Because many have tried, others have fainted. Gone.
Man, I think part of the education was just you're educated to be resilient. Even when I teach people from the first lesson. I'm like, this is going to be very hard.
Mhm.
And if you're not somebody who's either resilient or ready to work hard, this is probably not the career for you. You know? And I'm like, if you want to be famous, we can do something separate. Let's look for fame. But
Yes.
if you want to do that craft of acting, my friend, it's not a joke. And it's quite difficult. So I think it's just like I come from a very realistic, like,
Point of view where this is a difficult job.
it's a difficult thing. So you're asking, how did I penya?
Yeah.
I think it's just realizing that those are the issues, the challenges. So if like, for example, because I know I've been to Hollywood, I've seen where the downfalls are, right? I've seen where they work really well.
Yes.
And then I've come here and I've seen also where they work poorly and also where we work better than them, you know? So I think just being able to be aware has allowed me to be like, oh, let me try this, or let me go to this thing and let me not audition for this one because I know they're not looking for that. I've sat behind as a casting person enough to know, okay,
Yeah.
when they're saying yellow, they mean yellow.
Not you.
You and your darkness. Hashtag melanin popping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, melanin all day.
Oh, you're pretty.
You too. Yeah, but like to know when they mean what they mean, what they're really looking for, or sometimes I can kind of just tell a bit of what. I think that's probably why I got the Single Kiasi gig, because as much as I kind of blundered the audition in terms of maybe a lot of people did well in the audition as Sintamei,
Yes.
but it's just kind of that like, there's a foundation that kind of comes in with nuance that I think I had from just having sat in rooms where people are rewriting on the spot in some of the what are those comedy shows where you have like sitcoms, sorry.
Yes.
They have like multiple cameras, right?
Yes.
So they shoot very like, it's all on the go. Like the writer is in the room, they're like, okay, you hear that bell, bing, and then they like stop, the writer comes in, they're like, nobody laughed at that line, let's rewrite it. And then they're like, okay, let's run it back. And then they run it and no one laughs again. They're like, bing, okay, let's run it back. They're like, okay, they go with the third version. And then everyone laughs, all right, that's the take we're going with. And then the actors are like happy. So you see, I've seen so many behind the scenes things that have allowed me to press buttons a little bit better,
Yeah.
I think.
To maneuver your way in the industry.
Yeah.
Because I feel our industry is one track minded. Like we are just
Exactly.
You can't diversify. You can't move. You can't move this way then come back here.
And I think it's just merely education, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know, if all you know is I was about to say accounting but I don't know anything about finance. But I'm sure they're like different, different things. If you don't know about a doctor, what kind of doctor? They're different. There's so many different facets of it. But if all you know is general doctor, family doctor.
Which is most of the actors in Kenya.
Yeah.
Actors, they just know.
Well, unajua drama first.
Bas.
Unajua kujiintroduce na kusema alafu. But there are so many other versions. There's the comedic social media actor now. There's a TikTok. There's so many
actors.
Yeah.
We went into TikTok since it's easy money.
Have I tried to do TikTok?
Yes, TikTok acting since it's easy money.
Who said it's easy money? Oh, don't fool yourself, my friend. Social media is a beast. Me who has been in the industry over 10 years or something, I have like 6,500 followers or something. Where they follow me at Gathoni Mutua. Gathoni, that's GATHONI .MUTUA. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. GATHONI.MUTUA. That's Gathoni.Mutua.
TikTok, Instagram.
Siko. But you see, because it takes so much to me who has been in this industry so long, now I have to learn this other thing, right? I was listening to Future. It's a YouTube guy, like it's a company called Future, and they talk about creatives and that kind of, so they said, it's great to be fluent at the language of creativity, right? But can you be fluent at the language of business? And we have to do that now.
So, are you fluent in the language of business?
Me, I'm learning. Nini.
Artists, the actors, creatives are very ignorant about the business side of.
And it's hitting you like a ton of bricks, like it's hitting me with my 6,500 followers.
Yes.
Knowing that I have 10, 12 plus years of experience, and yet it's not showing in my, I'll say it could show more.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say it's not showing. I'm on billboards.
Yes.
But, it could show more.
Yes.
In my body of work.
Yes.
But because I've only just learned, or I'm starting to learn, this is how to go from
the acting side.
Yeah, from to what is it called? Being a household name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now it's important to be a household name when you're doing this kind of craft.
Yes.
Which it wasn't before. It was like you could just bring your sister Caro, be like, oh, now she's an actor. She's an actor now. She's acted in that show. Now she's an actor.
Yeah.
But now it's like we have brands, right? Everything is a brand. Everything and everyone is a brand. So in the era of branding, now we have to brand ourselves as actors. So we have to be fluent in the language of business and creativity. And I think I'm getting there now. Now I can speak it a bit.
A bit.
Yeah. Najua ku pitch, najua ku,
Are you getting lessons from anyone? This is the school of hard knocks.
Man, I'm telling you, that's the thing about having been in it for so long, is that I learned it the hard way by teaching myself, and rather than learning from other people's mistakes and having a mentor.
Yeah.
Me, I was gonganaing, like I was just hitting the wall. Yeah.
Yes, so I can tell something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so, I mean, it's a way. It's probably not the best way.
Right.
So that's why I think I'm also passionate about teaching, is like, I'm happy to help my students, I love my younger, like, especially female students who are coming up and they're like, Gathoni, I don't know about doing this and I don't know about doing this and I really want to do this. But I know it's easier for men, or I know it's more difficult for me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, how do I maneuver?
Yeah.
I'm so like, that excites me to know that I can give them an answer, because that was me.
That was you.
And I had no one to tell me.
True.
And me, I thought, or I knew, because at that time it was knowing, that really what I had was, in terms of education, was the States or London or something. We didn't have, let me tell you, I went to KU. I was going through maybe you can bleep that. I was going through the halls, and finding like things were in disarray, like the department was not doing what it was doing, like, when back in the day they were big, they were huge.
Yeah.
Even Starehe Boys, I was I told you I direct musicals as well. So I directed a musical for them.
I saw
Joseph,
it in 2019.
Yeah, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yes.
And it was like, they were a huge like school for music and drama.
Yeah.
They hired me to come and try and bring it back. So it's like
something is missing.
Yeah, missing pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So tell us about Pieces of Us.
Pieces of Us. Yeah, Pieces of Us was my in-betweener between my two, I think, favorite projects. That one was because I was not a main.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a co-main, co-featured. But maybe that was the most long-running, because it was not like Single Kiasi or This Is Life, which has like 13 episodes or 10 episodes. Those ones are like those episode 253, 250, yeah, those ones shoot to air. So that was interesting because it allowed me to, with Sintamei, it's a bit, with Single Kiasi, Sintamei, she's very fixed, like her storyline is extremely structured and fixed and built, and it's almost hard to put more nuance onto her.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're so structured.
Yeah, I kind of have to, everyone's like, okay, you're so different from Sintamei.
Yes.
Because she's written. She's quite written, you know, as opposed to someone like Becky from Pieces of Us, because Becky was being written as we go. You know, she was constantly, you know, she had a bit more leeway to change with every episode.
Felt like you were a wild card.
Yeah, because this episode, you know, she can, you know, and then the next episode she can go back wild, but then there's explanation. You have time to explain how she got there. You know, how you got to crazy. With Single Kiasi, because it's so short, you don't have time to go like, okay, she was crazy here and now she's not.
Yes.
Because ABCD. And so so it's very hard to write for a show like Single Kiasi because you have to get to the plot lines like immediately. Yeah.
There's no delay.
Yeah. So yeah, so Pieces of Us was different in that way. Like Becky was, like this week I'm like, oh, she's doing what? I'm like, oh, she did, huh? Whereas I think for Sintamei, because we can't move too far, it has to kind of be within her world, you know?
Yeah, it has to be within character.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we have, hopefully we have more seasons coming that will allow us to continue to flesh them out, evolve. Because even from season 1 to season 2, I feel like Sintamei is a completely different human. Not different, but even how she's gone through so many things, right? Now she's pregnant. That's a different thing.
That's an
She's been wanting to be pregnant for 12 years, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a different, like she had to put pause on this person. Just like they say, every 7 years, like your whole cells regenerate, right? So you're like literally a different person.
Yes.
So imagine in that process of those 7 years coming to fruition, how much you're changing, you know, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, So even by the time, even physically, she's changed, you know.
Do you feel the change yourself, or how do you prepare to get into a character now that you got this person? Because you're totally opposite of what that character is. So, who are you and how do you get into a particular human? Because I feel like you're a very strong, a force to record with as
Sintamei, yeah.
Close.
Where's Santa? But missing. Yes. Basically asking like about how to get into my characters and stuff. I love that you've said like, who are you? Because that's my main question. Even when I teach coach my acting classes, we start with who are you, right? Because in order to become someone else, you have to be something, right? In order to shift, you have to have, with Play-Doh, you have to have a shape. You have to have the Play-Doh first in order to shape into something. And so if you take the example of that Play-Doh, what we do in acting classes is to get you to zero, right? You have to start like this, right? Baseline. You know, something malleable. But a lot of time, if you start, let's not take Play-Doh, let's take clay, right? You have to put water, without the water, how is it?
It's
dry. You can't move it. And that's how most people show up into class for me. Why? That's dry. They're just like, I'm tense, I'm nervous, I'm trying to make money, I'm trying to, you know, all these things, right? So then we have to put water. And that water is all the exercises that we do, all the mental processes that we have to do. So for example, physically, you know, there's a lot of breathing. We talk about breathing. That's resetting the system, right? So that we're going from that to, okay.
Because it's so when David say that once you start doing the breathing exercise and you mouth them or pronounce them, it brings out the emotion that you actually feel. And you let
my goodness, 1000%.
Tell us about that.
There's a class that I did in uni where it gets much because I feel like it's like you can't explain things that are physical as much as like you just kind of have to do them.
Yes.
Like I can't explain to you how it feels to stretch. You have to just be like, yeah, I know that feeling, you know? It's like that. It's like there's a release of, like when you take a deep breath and out, there's a feeling of,
release.
Why was I so tense, you know? It really, gosh, I really don't know how to explain it. It's like journaling. It's like going on a run. It's like breathing. All of them they reset by how you reset them. And if you don't ever reset them, then they'll just continue getting drier and drier and drier and drier. So, right? And so the more water you can pour, the more malleable you can be. The more exercises that you have and the more you know yourself, right? The more you can change into something else. So if I, for example, have to be a bad, evil villain,
Yes.
or let's say I have to act as someone who killed someone, like as a serial killer. I have to know myself as a non-serial killer to be able to come out of that role when we call cut or when we're done with that show, right? Because otherwise I have nothing to return to.
Yeah.
Me, I'm returning to that serial killer.
You're returning to that.
Yeah, because I was nothing before.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's that understanding of, okay, let me start with a foundation. Let me really get myself together. So we do a lot of like therapy work.
Itabidi.
Yeah, me, I'm like, who are you? Why do you feel that way? Do you feel like we do a lot of like type work. When I do my group classes, we do like type work. So I have someone stand in front and be like, what does that person look like?
Oh, wow.
We age them as a casting director would. We say, okay, give them an age range, 5 years, 21 to like 26. And then I'm like, okay. So they say highest range, like higher side 26, lower side 21. Say, okay, great. What do you look like you can do? So, this one looks like they're an artist. Or this one looks like a chokora. This one.
Do people cry?
Yeah. No, because we try and I make sure to keep the environment light.
So that it doesn't get to...
Yeah. But let me tell you how vital that session is, because a lot of people do leave like, yo, I didn't know I look like that.
Nice.
But the thing about it is, that's how your casting agent is seeing you.
Yes.
So the brutality of me, let me tell you, mi nilikuwa naenda hizo lines za Hollywood. Me, I thought I was showing up looking like Lupita.
Yeah, there are 1,000 Lupitas looking
Let me tell you, promise you, I thought I was Lupita. Kumbe I was looking like
a regular ass Gathoni
from Muranga.
Where? Are you serious?
Yeah, like just a chick who has no understanding of because I didn't get it. I didn't understand how you look, right? Because that's the first thing they see.
The first thing they see.
And then they hear your voice and how you speak. Then they see how you act. So imagine it's in that order.
So how did
it's
you
not
learn?
From how you act.
And it's not from inside out.
It's from outside in, unfortunately.
How did you find yourself? How did you ground yourself?
Hey.
This person ndio unakuja kuuliza watu, who are you? So how
did you find yourself?
Because
are these really the questions?
Yes, kwa sababu cheki.
How did I find myself?
Yes, kwa sababu industry inaweza kufanyia maneno
mbaya tena sana.
Yeah. Ndio chesa mami.
Hey.
How did you find
How
yourself?
did I find
because
myself?
This industry will turn you out, inside out, outside in, and then some. Particularly you've been to Hollywood, so it's brutal. It's worse than here.
Sijui niende the spiritual aspect.
Do you know?
So again, I think over all my years, now is when I'm coming to the point where I'm looking at life very holistically. So as much as I teach that about like, okay, what's your physical appearance looking like? What's your voice saying? Blah, blah, blah. There's also all the aspects of wellness. And I think for me, that's really where I'm trying to like direct my coaching, direct my work.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can I be holistically as a circle, if you look at it as a circle, like the physical side, emotional side, intelligence, right? All of them wellness, right? Intelligent, emotional intelligence, physical intelligence, like all of that kind of stuff, just being at the prime, right? So that means I need to read. I need to listen to podcasts. I need to educate myself on the different stuff. I also need to work on my emotions, right? That has to do with journaling, meditating, physical side, right? Breathing and stuff so that I can be emotionally centered, right? So I'm not all over the place. Then we start rolling and I'm still all over the place, right?
Yes.
So physically, I have my whatever. Emotionally, I'm centered, right? Intellectually, now I know what to do. I'm like, okay, now I know, okay, I want to do this emotion. This is how I'll do it.
This is what the character dictates.
Yeah. What's the otherworldliness of it, right? What's the non-physical part of it? And we're not talking emotional, intelligent. What's the why?
Yes.
You know?
What's your why?
What's your why?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is like the basics of what one of the biggest questions we ask as actors is, what do you want?
Yes.
What does the character want? And that is almost a spiritual question, right?
Yes.
So all of them put together, that drives now, like, that's an undefeatable character. That's 4 dimensions. You can see the nuance, right? You can see when in Devil Wears Prada, when Meryl Streep goes from, there's a moment where she's human.
Soft.
Human and soft. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Did you see? And
did
it's a
someone
glimpse.
hurt you?
And it's a glimpse of it, and you won't see it
Well,
anymore.
you're like, who hurt you? And that who hurt you, oh, it's powerful. Because if she's just a villain the whole time, you're like, there's a villain. Nobody likes her.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, who hurt you?
There's
That's
something.
way more interesting.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, now they have like a mother-daughter relationship. Anyway, let's not go into it. Great movie.
Yes, Devil Wears
Great
Prada.
movie, great movie.
Right?
Yeah, so that kind of thing.
All right. So how do you center your character? Because first, let's begin. Which is the strongest character you've played? Is Sintamei, right? So
Hey, you did it. You did it.
finally, when I don't think about it, it comes.
Yeah, it counts.
So which character do you aspire to? Because I'd like to see you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Badass.
goodness. Yes, 100%. 100%. I'm trying to be in Mission to Rescue 2.
Mama Stunt Nazo.
Mission to Rescue 3. Me, I want to be, what's that chick's name? Tomb Raider.
Oh,
I'm trying to do some woman king. I'm trying to Wakanda forever.
this is an investment. Like it's all
Mtanijua. Wasiniandikie.
We will write. I can make you a Meru
Mcheze nini?
Tucheze kama
Yes.
like how do you hope this character is going to push you, or what do you think this character is going to go? Your dream
Sintamei. Or that dream character.
Dream character, yes.
Oh
Because
my
I feel
goodness.
Sintamei is a woman. And a very strong character in that. But then again, I don't think she has room to wiggle and become something else.
I think she does. I'd love to answer that question for both characters, but let me just start with the fictional one.
Uh-huh.
The fictional one, the Wakanda Forever,
Woman King.
Mission to Rescue. I grew up very sporty. I'm an Arsenal fan. Top of the league. Anyway. Like I'm big on community things. Yeah. Like casts, teams, like groups. Like I've always been that person. So I think for me, I love the idea of doing something together as a group and especially in a story, like a team or an office. Like recently I did something with the UN for, is there NDA on it? Anyway, it's
Something with other people.
yeah, something with people doing things.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the idea of everyone in the group, in the story, is trying to do one thing. Like if you're a team, you're doing a football team. Like you've watched Bend It Like Beckham.
Yes.
Kitkayo. I love things like that because you're like, oh, I can really get into the spirit of, I can bounce off these other people who are also in my sphere.
Yeah.
I just think that person will be someone who is multifaceted like me. I would love for her to not just, I think the movie Bend It Like Beckham is very interesting because they're like, oh man, she's such a tomboy, blah, blah, blah. But yet, I think she falls in love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I just want to give dimension to people,
Yes.
Give people in the village, dimension. Give people in the city dimension. Me, I've spent a lot of my life in shags. Like me, I'm a farm girl. But you won't know that, because
that.
yeah, because but I'm not seeing that dimension of, city girl. So I'm sure there's a part of maybe Sintamei who's what's her shag's life? What's her, so there's a lot of that we can experience and blah, blah, blah. So as much as you say there's not much wiggle room and whatever, I think the adding dimensions is what's the future of it, including like, that's what I was saying about having 13 episodes versus like shooting to air and whatever. Like the more episodes we have, the more we can flesh out these people, give them more backstory, give them more, hard things. Maybe in season 13, Sintamei goes into law enforcement.
Why?
You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens with storylines when they become long, right? People start changing and evolving because they can't have been this way for 13 years.
True.
See, they've moved.
Monday.
Yeah.
Kuna evolution.
Grey's Anatomy. Bado, yedi daktari. Si retire.
It's been since what 2008.
Yeah, man. Like, are you still a doctor? Because
Yo.
yeah. So that kind of thing, I think it's will give us representation, will give us dimension. I think that's what I'm looking forward to with my coming characters. To have, yes, she could be a lawyer, but what else? You know, like, yeah, what else does she do? Because that's how we are. Most of the lawyers I know and I've met on Twitter because of this are very artsy, like super artsy, which is very interesting to me.
Please.
They're all either musicians or they like can draw or they're like, you know,
the things that they do
Yeah.
that doesn't define the particular.
yeah. So I'm like,
Person
yeah,
they are.
let's give dimension to people. Let's make them football players who can sing. Let's, you know, yeah, let's give the story. And it doesn't have to be for the drama, but for the realism. Not like, oh, okay, let's make her a killer next episode. No, let's do it for what is actually happening in the world, you know? Art representing real life.
Yeah. So who do you aspire to be like an actor? Who's your mentor?
Gathoni.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, I aspire just to be, honestly, I really aspire to be me.
Yeah.
I usually say, I'm trying to teach myself to be myself. And that's part of what the journaling and the meditating and stuff is, because I forget.
Yes.
You know, even when I'm not doing roles, even if you're with your friends, sometimes you become them, you know, you just
instead trying
kidogo, you go there, you become something
become
else,
someone
right?
else.
So you have to come back and be like, again, who am I? You asked, who am I? Center yourself. So that now,
You can you can tell yourself into something else.
but if you're just a rock and you're just going everywhere and you're just taking everything and you're not, it's just, you have to know who you are.
What's the difference between film, acting, theater, commercial, film? Oh, sorry, I said film, TV.
That's a great question.
Yeah. What's the difference? Like, what is there a particular what is it called?
Method or anything.
Method that you have to apply?
Yeah, so I think we touched on it earlier about,
Yeah.
you know, there's the TikTok and blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. I think that as much as I'd like to say there's one kind of acting, and I really think there's either truthful acting or there's not.
With it.
But there are multiple media to do it, right? So doing a short film versus doing an Insta story versus doing a reel versus doing a YouTube video versus doing a short featurette versus I mean, there's so many ways you can tell a story.
Yes.
That I don't think the medium is the thing. I think it's how do we act? What is acting, right? And I think that answer is very simple, which is just to tell the truth in imaginary circumstances.
Tell the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Kenyan movie right now on Netflix or film or series
Oh,
on Netflix?
no,
What's
favorites
your-
is hard, but I'll just say one I'm really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
Send me a Netflix.
Sema.
I'm a Showmax.
Any Kenyan film that you last?
Nataka
Like
nichome. My bosses are
Not
watching.
Single Kiasi. That
Emma,
was on
Showmax, Single Kiasi.
Netflix, you say.
I'll say I really liked, and later, is it called, oh, here is messed up the name, A Christmas Love.
Oh, Christmas Love, yes. Yes.
Ile with that Ugandan chick.
Yes.
First of all, she's so gorgeous. She's such a singer.
Oh,
Where? Multi-faceted.
Itabidi. Wow.
Triple threat. Acting, singing, dancing. Acting,
Singing.
sports, instruments.
Be something.
Yes,
Find-
yes, that's how you get it, man. With Pascal. I loved that one. That was really nice. It was heartwarming.
Oh.
So congratulations to Peter Kawa.
Right?
And
Peter
the
Kawa
team.
is
Yeah, it
amazing.
was short. I bet. I said the only thing that was wrong with that is that it was too short. Yeah, the only thing. But that's lovely.
That's a good. That's
It's
a good
best.
complaint.
It's the best complaint you can
That's a
have.
good complaint. What do you think about Country Queen?
Country Queen, I have not finished. But I think, yeah. Oh, did I say Melissa was from Country 49? I meant Country Queen.
Country Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well shot. Storyline is great. I mean, there's also Counting 49. I mean, they're just...
Where do you see the Kenyan industry, the Kenyan film industry going in the next what?
What?
Now 2 years, let us see 5 nowadays, because everything changes every day.
I'll tell you what, this year, I think people are really... I think the people who have the money are now being slapped in the face by the economy, which is saying, yeah, remember how we told you social media and blah, blah. Yeah, now it's for real.
It's working.
Now it's for real. Like, now we need to invest in people. So now you're starting to see collaborations between influencers and, governments, Now it's not a joke. Now it's not just for the kids.
Yes.
Now it's serious people. And I think that is just an indicator of what entertainment can do and does, and the arts does and has always done.
Yes.
If you look at Hollywood and all of those people, they have always been the face of things. Always.
Yes.
I mean, if you talk, even if in insurance, what's his name? Shaq has been the face of everything under... Shaq is our Jalas. Like, everything that you need branded.
Yes, it's him.
You know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing that we've only started now to say, oh, okay, kumbe Jalas si fala.
Mm-hmm.
Jalas is now an MP.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kim mchezo.
Kim jokes. So it's one of
jokes.
those things of, okay, understanding what brand means. And now using brand to establish ourselves as creatives. And not just saying I'm fluent in creativity. I'm a really great actor, which is what I came and said in 2016. I'm like, I'm an actor. I've studied it. Like, I've even been in the industry. I know this stuff. They're like,
Hollywood.
they're like, oh. Nice side. Followers, nothing. Do you know how to market yourself? No. Where is your acting reel? The one that you're telling your students about.
Yeah.
Where is CV? I was like, okay.
How long do you take to get yourself together?
To be fair, I started my acting reel as I was leaving the States.
Okay.
So I literally, this is a tip. For the people who have not been cast in anything and can't be cast in anything, which is not true, find some friends. But yeah, the tip is find some friends.
Who can shoot something.
Yeah, and what I did is I literally wrote 4 scenes and then cut them as if they're movies.
Nice.
And it just was like, show reel. And they're all different. One is about like death, like a sick woman, she's terminally ill. Another one is about like child in a waiting room with an African kid, and an African woman waiting in an American waiting room, and just things that I was just trying to be like, bruh, just see that I can act.
Just see the versatility.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the things we've been working on for a long time.
Do you consider what is success to you? Do you consider yourself as a successful this industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I work hard as a person to be, maybe it's not work hard. I think I'm a generally content person because of the fact that I think I'm very gentle on myself. So I celebrate my small wins quite well, which I think motivates me to do more. I think success is just about contentment. I think even just that year in the States, or those 3 years in the States, were huge for me. As much as like they were so long ago, I'm so like grateful, and I can count that as success because I did them and I accomplished them, and they're on my CV, and they taught me so much in terms of relationships, work, equipment, blah, 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 and just planning. So I think all of those, to me, I count as success because I think I count all of them as success because I know I can see the results now. I can see when I sit in a meeting, oh yeah, it's because by then 2016, this thing happened. So I'm quicker at this now because of that one moment. And like, I know how to slate and, say my name better or more creatively now because of that one audition. So it's very small, minute successes for me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes successes look like failures.
Yes.
Because it might be, okay, you didn't do that very well. And so you don't get it. But the next time you do it,
you're going to be
trust.
You're going to nail it.
Yeah. I had enough Let me tell you, the rejections and the rooms that I walked into in the States, I was like, it's not from not trying to audition. It's for, I was not getting jobs for acting because there are 7,800 Gathonis. You want a Chinese 3-foot man? We've got him.
70,000 of them.
Yeah, what do you want? You want a Filipino wife? We got him.
Wow.
6 of them.
So how did you
Who can
handle the
speak-
rejection? How did you handle
Yeah,
that?
man, I was like, yeah. I was like, forget it. I was
Next.
just joking. Let me be an AD. But I was really taking note. I was like, okay, so these people are triple threats. These people can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can do an instrument, they can ski, they can blah, blah, blah. So maybe because you can do 2 things, Gathoni, maybe add
Something.
Yeah, so I was really learning. And I was learning, okay, these people have, their headshots are constantly going for headshots. I'm like, you just took headshots. We don't even have one. These guys are doing monthly headshots with expensive photographers. And that's back in the day, right? Before like every phone could do everything.
Doing pictures.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a proper investment that you actually made the decision to invest in your career.
Absolutely.
And it's paying off now.
And it's paying off now and with much struggle because y'all was not trying to help me. Y'all was not trying to help me. Let me tell you, I know. And sana people who seem to come from privilege or whatever, and probably, I'm privileged. Let me not say I'm not privileged.
True.
But I think, it was rough.
Reminded that you don't belong.
Yeah, you don't belong here. You don't speak our language. You're what even is this school talent thing? No one will say it, you know.
But it's in the air. You can feel it.
You're like,
so what would you tell your younger self? What is the biggest accomplishment you have made your younger self would be stoked for?
Oh, I did it. I just did it. That's the thing. Like for me, I'm really just doing it. I'm doing the things that I've always told myself I would do. I'm doing them real slow and with a lot of mistakes. A lot. I really wish I had a lot of them. At least a lot of my peers are people's mentors. Akina Nyokavi, Akina, these are the people who people are looking up to now, but these are my people, Us guys hard. Our people were being fired for standing up for the things that they believed in. So us guys were like, we're not doing that. But now we're trying to, get out. Now that we have a bit of footing, I'm talking me and Nyokabi and that our generation now, we're getting a bit of confidence to say, no, we're not happy with this and we're willing to try and change it and we're not willing to do this for it. And yeah, so I think I'm excited for what our generation has in store. Like, I think.
Do you feel support from
Yeah.
from your fellow actors, from the industry? Do you feel like we are all working towards something in unison, or you just have a group of a bunch of women with similar thoughts and you're forging forward?
I'd say a little bit of both. Kenyans love to support you when you're successful.
Yes.
Both. So like, nimeona umenunua Audi,
Unafanya nini?
unafanya nini? Si uni And it's like, bruh, you were there for my first fundraiser. I said, oh, kutoa shilingi. But yeah, that's how it is. But also, there are those diehard people and those people who are like, I saw you and I see you. And I'm here for you. I'll never forget this. Let me just even shout her out. Joyce Mukami. She supported my acting reel, that acting reel that I was telling you I did in the States.
Yes.
I crowdfunded it from Kenya.
Wow.
Because kona yodo.
Right.
So I went to like a studio that had like several rooms that you could do any scene. So I had 4 different scenes, like I told you, right? So each in different rooms. So it's not like I went to different locations and stuff. So, and even that guy gave me a discount. So doing that, like that's how I did my own reel.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one who supported me in doing that because it cost a lot of money to like just get like a direct. I had like one director one sound. I had like the most bare bones.
minimum.
Yeah. And still it was so expensive for me because I was just trying to make rent,
Yeah.
by clapping for $8, So for her to support me, and it was just like, she's my age mate. She's someone, I mean, she does sports now for big people and travels to do World Cup and stuff. But I mean, it's that kind of thing where she's not in our industry per se, but she's supported me. And I'm like,
Easy.
that kind of vision are the people, those are the kinds of people we need to see us, not necessarily your aunt and your cousin and blah, blah, blah. Because those people see you, but they don't really see you.
Yes.
You need people who have seen you, your friends, and your friends' friends who really believe in you. Because people buy you, then they buy the company, then they buy, the
buy
vision. Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.